Hello everyone, I'm Clowen, and today we're going to be discussing EverCraft Online. EverCraft Online is an upcoming MMORPG currently in development by indie company Hidden Tree Entertainment. On June 18, 2022, they had a public open alpha test so developers could test their server load while showing the game off to the public. I immediately took this opportunity to jump in and take a look. All footage captured of the game, which we'll be discussing, is from a very early alpha build. Not all systems or contents are fully implemented. Having said that, let's jump in. Where the open alpha test ran from noon until 3 AM, I myself only had a few hours to give it a shot. What I saw in those few hours really amazed me. EverCraft Online takes great inspiration from the MMORPGs of the old days, most specifically EverQuest. Right as you enter into the game, if you ever played EverQuest, you'll know exactly what I mean. The UI seems familiar, the absolute perfect old school style music, which I was just constantly jamming out to even how they designed the city you spawned in. They managed to capture the essence of EverQuest with simply those three things. However, the similarities just don't end there. There's a whole slew of things that are just taken pretty much straight from EverQuest. But first, let's dive into the combat. Combat is a classic tab targeting style. It's also very slow and methodical. You're not going to be running into a group of mobs and spamming your buttons and then killing them all at once. It's pretty much a one-on-one until you start grouping up with other players. It's also very important to manage your resources. Now I hear you saying, all MMOs you manage your resources, but that's only a partial truth. Most modern MMOs now, you really don't manage resources as you used to, and definitely not compared to how you do in EverCraft Online. You pretty much, second you're done fighting a group of monsters in most MMOs, your health and mana will regen almost immediately, and you can just run straight into the next pack. Since regenerating mana and health in EverCraft Online takes a bit of time, and since the monsters deal pretty much significant damage, if you're not at full health, at least in the early levels, and you're going to attack a monster, there could be a chance that you will die. And if you don't have mana as a caster, well, you're not going to be able to cast your spells, and it's probably going to beat you to death. And honestly, this is something I love. In the new MMOs, when you're just running pack to pack and you don't really care about your health or mana because you know it's coming back, it just makes it brain dead. You're just going through the motions just to like level up. I understand every MMO there's a grinding thing and you're trying to always get to the next level, but it takes you out of the immersion where you're just spamming buttons moving forward, spamming buttons moving forward. The fact that you need to pause and look at your health is like, oh my god, I'm at 50%. Can I take on this mob? You know, it brings something to the game. It really makes you look at the risk rewards. Like, yeah, you know what? I can do it. And when you barely survive, it just feels so much better. Now, when you die, it is a completely different experience than what most people have probably experienced in MMOs recently. They went the very punishing route, which I'm okay with. So when that health bar hits 0, you die and you respawn back at your bind point, wherever that might be in the world. But you're spawning completely naked. You got no gear on, you got nothing in your inventory, you got no money, you have nothing on you. So you need to travel all the way back to wherever you died, and you'll find your corpse on the ground, and you have to loot it like you would a monster that you just killed. And on there has all your gear that you will be able to re-equip, and you're going to go back to your adventures. You might think this is very punishing for no reason, but there actually is a good purpose to this. Once again, let's take a look at most current MMOs. You run into packs, you kill things, and there's really no repercussions if you overpull something. You just die, you respawn, you get going on with your day. So now that there is a punishment for dying, you know, to do this potentially huge corpse run to get back to where you died, it will make you think about your engagements. And this goes hand in hand previously with the resource management. If you're too low on health or too low on mana, whatever it may be, if you pull something or your group isn't ready, and you are going to get punished for this. And that's the whole purpose of this death system. It's not just there to be punishing for no reason. It's there to make sure that you're paying attention and you're playing correctly. It's to bring you back into the game and stop taking us away and just smashing buttons and just going through the motions just because we're playing a video game. Moving on to quests, if your only experience in MMOs is WoW and later, you're probably not going to be familiar with the system that is in EverCraft Online, because it is pretty much EverQuest. There's no exclamation marks above people's head. There's no question marks. There's not going to be a highlighted area on your HUD to show you, hey, you got to kill the things that are over here. None of that. Instead, what you get is when you speak with NPCs, they'll respond in chat. And in there, you'll see a phrase or a word encompassed in brackets. What you then need to do is actually respond to this phrase or word, and they'll continue on giving you more lore or just tell you exactly what they want you to do for this quest. For example, the blacksmith, he wanted me to get him some smooth stones, which I can find outside, or buy some monsters that play around in the mud. There's no quest log, there's nothing on your HUD saying you have 0 of 1, 0 of 5 smooth stones, nothing. And you just gotta go kind of find out where this might be, and then complete the quest. So after I found the elementals, killed them, I got the smooth stone, I brought it back, and I actually gave it over to the blacksmith, dropped the item right on them to give them items. The quest was completed, or at least that phase. He told me that now if I brought him a dull sword, or weapon to be specific, he would then sharpen it for me. Having found a skeleton outside that was wielding a weapon, killed it, took it from him, brought it back to this blacksmith and gave it to him. He gave it back to me, and it was a sharpen. It was a new weapon, much better than what it previously used to be, and the quest was completed. So there's aspects of this questing system that I love, and other aspects which I wish could be improved. So first off, I love that there's no markers anywhere. No exclamation marks saying you get a quest from here. No question marks, you could turn this quest in here. Nothing on the HUD that are pointing you into the direction of exactly where you need to go to either kill mobs or gather a resource or something. None of that. I want to read the quest. I want to figure things out. That's the whole point of these games, is to make us immersed while we're playing. And you're going to do that by figuring things out yourself, not just by following quest markers. I understand the longer this game is out, there's going to be a wiki eventually, and it's going to list every single quest that is in the game and how to do it, and probably how to do it most optimally. But at least on release, we can have the joy of discovering these quests on our own. The last thing I want to touch on is the overall design of the game. As you've been seeing, it's a voxel-based art style, and this definitely won't appeal to everyone. I actually personally like it, but everything I've seen really meshes well. The great thing about this art style too is that it will hold up against the test of time. You take a look at a lot of older games, just the 3D graphics, they start to show its age. But this style, and also pixel art, it really will just retain its artistic value. For the music, they've enlisted a composer, Tony Manfredonia, and I really hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Audio is an incredibly important part of every game. It makes sure that you're fully immersed in what you're playing. If audio doesn't just mesh correctly, it will take you right out of the experience. Here, Tony has done a spectacular job with the music. It is unique for EverCraft Online, and the second I heard the first few notes when I got into the game, it just brought back waves of nostalgia for me from EverQuest. From the city theme to the combat tracks, the music style is just perfect, and it absolutely hit the nail on the head. I unfortunately couldn't play the full 15 hours of the alpha. I really only had a few hours with it as I had other things to do. But what I saw, it was fantastic. It is still a very early alpha build, and there's a lot of things missing, but I'm just completely in love with this game. And from what I've seen, the game is going to be a slow sandbox MMORPG with the emphasis on grouping. It's going to be a huge departure for people who have never played something like this before, and especially if you're only coming from WoW, Final Fantasy XIV, or Lost Ark, this game is not going to be for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. We need to stop developing games for everyone, because that's how we just get the same games coming out over and over and over. The designers have a clear vision for EverCraft Online, and I do hope they stick to it. I do plan on covering this game more in the future if there's ever more open alphas or open betas, and even possibly just things I would like to see in EverCraft Online. But if you like this video, please consider giving a like and subscribing to my channel. And until next time everyone, please take care.